Welcome to the Six Again podcast, your new destination for all things NRL. Here to bring you everything from team news to best bets are your hosts Adam Hoy and Jarrod Newton. Let's kick off.
Happy New Year, everybody. 6 days late, but we're here. First episode of 2021 for the Six Again podcast. First episode of season 2. I've got my party shirt on. Also a holiday shirt, because technically I'm still on holidays. And Jarrod looks like he's just still in need of a holiday, or he's just come back from one. I'm not sure. But how was your New Year, Jarrod? Did you make it?
So my New Year's Day started with me cleaning the house.
Excellent.
It ended with me starting a new TV series and then watching it till 3 a.m. So I'm super excited on my New Year's.
Oh, married life.
I'm not married. That's the ironic part.
Oh, life with children.
No.
Yeah, well, I got pretty hammered and played table tennis, and then my mate's dad decided to put on some Marilyn Manson, Korn, and Slipknot film clips till like 2 in the morning when we went to bed. Yeah, it was pretty nuts. Yeah, more than I was expecting. But no, that was my New Year. And to all our listeners and followers out there, hope you had an enjoyable New Year's and you're all starting 2021 on the right foot. And hopefully this year is a better year for all of us. And hopefully we get some awesome rugby league kicking off in the NRL in just over, 2 months' time?
Yep.
March 11. So being January 6th, yeah, pretty much 2 months and a couple of days. It's going to sneak up on us, I have a feeling.
It's going to be bloody quick.
Yeah, I'm just going to crack a little beverage here. I can get the bloody... Oh, that sounds good. And if any of you guys... Yeah.
No, that just proves Adam's on holidays.
No, what proves I'm on holidays is 2 days ago, my daughter and I were watching Bluey and reading Asterix comics at 9:30 in the morning, and I was thirsty, so I got a beer. I was like, that's brilliant. That's holidays. But anyway, my wife surprised me with this carton just leading up to Chrissy. The good old Hornet Indian Pale Ale by Black Hops. Trying to put it up in the camera here, but virtual background. There we go. It's pretty hard for Black Hops to make a bad beer. They're a pretty solid brewery, so we'll have a link to them in our bio as well. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy this through the show. For anyone who caught on I'm going to put it on Instagram, actually, which has been a bit quiet. I'm going to ramp that up. I put some solid prep work into this show, Jarrod. I really did.
Better than I did.
True. Yeah. But that was out of your hands. No, I spent the last couple of days getting this stuff ready, so I thought I'd treat myself to a round of golf this afternoon. And I love that game. Really annoying, but really satisfying when you hit a good shot.
I've never played. Ever.
Yeah, well, if there was ever an awkward silence between us, that was it. So, for all those playing at home, I got through 7 holes before a bad light stopped play. It's $20 after 3 p.m. That's why I was out there. Yeah, I played 7 holes, sitting at 6 over. So I was pretty happy with that, considering I play like 4 times a year. Anyway, this is not a golf or holidays podcast. This is a rugby league podcast. I am Adam. That is Jarrod. We are the hosts of Six Again. We're going into our 2nd season, and this is our 1st episode. So that was a segment we're going to be calling Beers and Banter, giving you pointless updates on our lives and the beers that we're drinking. So into the footy. Sorry, Jarrod?
Oh, well, because everyone's here to listen to what happens in our...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But who wouldn't want to? It's brilliant. And, all right. Signings. Off the ruck.
Okay.
One-off news stories, and we're going to kick off with a big one that Jarrod said has dropped, and I've yet to hear of this because it literally dropped, 10 minutes ago?
Right. According to Channel 7, and this could potentially be the signing that makes this club. I could not believe it come out of the blue completely. But Corey Allen has
Manly.
signed with the Bulldogs.
Oh,
How
really?
good of this? Like, how much stronger does that make that Bulldog?
Wow.
How huge is that?
When did that? I'm just checking this now. I'm sorry, I'm looking off screen, but yeah, I didn't know that one.
It is. So he'll run on at their fullback. I believe he will easily be their fullback, especially even when Josh Adokar comes in.
Yeah, I was about to say that one.
So, your backline's got to consist of Flanagan, Burton, Nick Kotrick, Josh Adokar, and Corey Allen.
Wow.
That's massive. And then you add, the not Dallin Watine-Zelezniak into that. Will Hopewade into that. That's a pretty bloody good. A couple of weeks ago, you saw Bulldogs backline going into 2021, and you're like, it's missing something. I reckon this is their best signing, including Kotrick and Josh Adokar.
Yeah,
it's
that's
that big.
And those who didn't get to watch Corey Allen much or didn't know much about him, you saw enough in the Origin. And we broke it down in the second and third game specifically as support play in broken play and also off set pieces. He's very rarely out of position. He's still working on his defensive game, but that's understandable considering he's been in and out of first grade playing centre, wing and fullback. That's a huge pickup by the Bulldogs if that proves to be true. I haven't seen anything yet. I've been refreshing the feed, but is that starting this year or next year?
This year.
Wow.
Yep, according to Channel 7.
Are Rabbitohs line up to sign someone then maybe? He wouldn't have been on that much cash.
No, not really, because when you think about it, they have a lot of outside backs. So they've lost Josh Roberts, they've lost Corey Allen, but they've got Latrell Mitchell,
fullback,
Gang guy,
center.
Who?
Fullback, center.
No, Latrell Mitchell, Gang guy, Braden Burns.
Winger. Campbell Graham, center. Or Campbell Graham.
Center. Yeah, Campbell Graham.
Taudau Moga.
Taudau Moga now. They've got a few young players as well.
Well, that means Campbell Graham's going to have to play wing, isn't he? If you got Moga and Braden Burns.
Oh, look.
Alex Johnson, they held on to him, didn't
they? Alex Johnson as well. So they had a lot of outside backs. And I actually said this, I think, about a month ago. If anyone's looking for outside backs, they should really start calling it South Sydney because they have about 9, 10, 11 first grade outside backs, like quality players.
All right. And I'll run through their back line. You're going to say yay or nay. So yay, you would keep the Rabbitohs player over Corey Allen.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Alex Johnson.
I'd keep Corey Allen. Nay.
You'd say nay. Braden Burns.
Nay.
Taudau Moga.
Keep Corey Allen.
Yeah. I'd say the same. Same. Corey Allen over all three of them. Campbell Graham.
I would keep Campbell Graham. So, yay.
Latrell Mitchell.
I don't know.
Dane Gagai.
No. I'd keep Corey Allen at this point.
Over Gagai?
At NRL level, yeah.
So say you pick Campbell Graham over him, you pick Latrell Mitchell, we'll say over him or equal with him. He's the third player you'd pick in the back line.
100%.
And that's what I was so confused about. Like he's easily in their best back five. That's an interesting and going to one of their biggest rivals. That's
and what's weirder about it is Bennett took him from the Broncos down to South Sydney with him.
Yeah.
So he was one of the first signings that Bennett chose. And everyone sat there and goes, good on Bennett. idiot Seabold for letting him go, because Corey Allen and that backline for the Broncos last year would have done a hell of a lot of good for them.
Mm.
So, yeah, Bulldogs, that's your key signing of the year, I reckon. Absolutely
Very cool.
massive.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's have a look what else is going on. So we got West Tigers and the Cowboys have traded a pair of big-bodied youngsters. So another trade. Cool. Kiwi forward Tukamiya Simpkins is moving from West Tigers to moving to West Tigers, and Kane Bradley is joining North Queensland. Simpkins has signed a 3-year Tigers deal until the end of 2023 after being released, and Bradley has signed a 2-year contract with the Cowboys to add to their outside backs. So a couple of names to keep an eye on. So we know that there's gaps in the North Queensland backline, and the West Tigers have been one of the best breeding grounds for young forwards the last couple of seasons. So who knows, that could work out for both clubs. We mentioned Elijah Taylor's off to the Super League. So in a previous episode. So on the signings front, it's been pretty quiet, as has Rugby League over the past week. That's huge news, though, dropping Corey Allen on the way to the Bulldogs for the 2021 season, as per Channel 7. So we're just trying to source a couple of extra sources for that before the show finishes, if one comes up. On signings, and I guess we'll stay there for now, Titans have joined the race for Xavier Coates. So already having taken David Fafita off the Broncos books, imagine if the Broncos lost Xavier Coates to the Titans as well. That could really spice up the rivalry down there. When you add Jarrod, David Fafita, Xavier Coates, these aren't just like also rans at the Broncos anymore. These are key players for that team.
Yeah. They got to keep Xavier Coates.
Oh yeah.
That's the only thing you can say about it. They need to keep him with his potential. Broncos need to make that a priority.
Well, the Broncos supposedly have. They have already upgraded his contract, or offered him an upgraded contract. However, it's unclear how many years the offer is entailed, and he has yet to put pen to paper on that deal.
Yeah, so it just depends on... I think it'll depend on what Kevin Walters brings. Like, if it's the same shit as last year, that's all. He's gone. That's all you can That's all you can say. He's gone if it's the same shit as last year. That's what I believe.
But supposedly it says Coates, he's been out of field office since the 1st of November. So if it's already 2 months past that date, and nothing there. But he's only just returned to preseason training as being part of the Origin squad. And he's keen to see what preseason's like under Kevin Walters before he makes a call.
Yeah.
Just adding a touch more pressure maybe to Walters and his preparations.
Oh, his pressure this year is monstrous. He's the most under pressure coach in the NRL.
Oh yeah.
This year. Just because of the talk that's been made by him and made by others on his behalf.
Yes.
Like every Bronco supporter I've talked to about this has gone, we're going back to the old days because it's Kevin Walters. If he doesn't do well, Broncos fans in the last year, 18 months have proven that if you don't do well at the Broncos, you're the most hated person at Red Hill. That's fucking...
Especially if you're the victim of an overseas online syndicate. That could,
yes.
Really
which, the more technology moves forward, the better chance of that happening.
We know how good Kevy is with technology, so he'll be fine. Xavier Coates, just to finish off that story, has not made any approach to Gold Coast, and they've not made any approach to him. So the two sides haven't talked to each other. The main news there is Gold Coast have expressed interest in the player.
Officially hasn't talked to him, anyone.
Yes, we'll put that in quotation. So already some big signings news, perhaps some other signings news on the way. Another biggest piece of one-off news in the NRL is that we're going to go on to something that's pierced your heart as a Knights supporter.
Really. Not really.
Well, you don't want to go on to it?
No. I just don't think it's... Look, what's happened is it's come out in the media that he's been texting this other chick.
We're talking about Mitchell Pearce here, by the
is-
way, people. The reference was Knights.
yeah.
Jarrod's a Knights supporter. Just to clear that up.
Yeah. The reality of it is it's not the full story because none of this kind of stuff ever comes out the full story, ever.
Nope.
So I think we talked about it last episode. Quick recap. He's been texting this other chick 10 days before the wedding when he's been called off. But the chick's boyfriend is quite close with a lot of other Newcastle fans, players, sorry. So it's come to a head and, rumours running around that Mitchell Pearce is going to be stripped of his captaincy, won't get re-signed. There was a rumour at one point that Newcastle are going to sign Gareth Widdop and get rid of Mitchell Pearce, yada, yada, yada. I don't know the full story behind this one if he was pushed, but he has officially come out and stepped back from the captaincy. He's not captain of Newcastle anymore.
Just what a rebuilding club needs under a second season head coach with big signings coming in.
I think we need Mitchell Pearce.
Yes, you need leadership.
We really do. Yeah, we really do. And let's face it, look, he texted another chick. I guarantee you, in a lot of NRL clubs, a lot more worse shit's happening.
Oh, yeah.
This one
100%.
just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what was involved in these text messages, as I said. So it is what it is. It's not the worst thing a player could do. Like, he's not, beating up his missus. He's not doing drugs. He's not, going out into town and breaking shit or harassing people, which is, that's a timeline the last 5 years in NRL.
Yeah.
This is low level as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I don't know what's going on in text messages.
So I guess the next decision there is because they've nipped it in the bud relatively quickly, and he stood down as captain. He's still going to be a leader on the field. Who's the replacement captain for Newcastle?
Well, okay.
Who are you putting your money on?
I don't know because start of last year, I actually said that when Pearce retires, I'm imagining hopefully in the next year or the year after, Lachlan Fitzgibbon, I was hoping was really going to come out of his shell this year. I actually think this is his worst year he's ever played. Obviously, David Clemmer's there. Obviously, the few people have thrown up Barnett. I don't agree with that. So another smoky could be Jaden Brayley. Depends what he's like at training.
He's been there, what, one season?
Yeah, and he only played 2 games.
Yeah, 2 pre-seasons. And he's still young.
Yeah. I don't see anyone else. Like, Safedi's not ready. Clemmer only he does play 60 minutes.
Tyson Frizzell.
I think, no, he hasn't even been there he's been there 1 day.
Yep.
I think the best option could have been for Newcastle if Mitchell Pearce stood back, but him and Clemmer were co-captains.
Kurt Mann.
Fuck off. But yeah, no, I think that's the best option, be co-captains. But, yeah, I don't know. Adam O'Brien's going to come up with an idea. Whoever it is going to play in a starting squad, well, every week. He thinks he's a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than our forward pack, which I think is too young or haven't been there long enough, our backline, which is...
Blake Green.
What, ACL, man? Look, our backline's not even set. The only mainstays are Pearce and Ponga in our backline.
Yeah.
So, unless it's Ponga...
Could you? Yeah, I was about to say, could you say why neither of us had mentioned Ponga?
I think he wanted to... nice way of putting it would be too much pressure on him.
Yeah.
Because he's got enough to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
The other side of things is...
Here it comes.
For me, it looks like, please stay. Here's the captaincy.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know if he's going to be there past this contract because of the Rugby World Cup.
So you're like, So, yeah, that's what it said. So it has to be someone in the forward pack. The only three I can think of, because I don't think Safidi's ready as a leader yet. He's just come into his prime as a front row. Clemmer, Fitzgibbon, or Barnett. That's the only three I can think of.
So at least, like, it was a low move by Pearce. At least it wasn't a dog move. Woohoo! All right.
Do you know what I hate about NRL players, though? Is that's
they
what
give me
they
too much ammo.
For. Yeah, that's what they went for straight away. And you look at Joel Monahan. He done way worse.
Yeah, he was
so much worse.
So onto a good story, or people making the best of a bad situation. We mentioned a few pods ago how the Warriors were trained in two different camps, one in Tamworth, one in New Zealand. And at the end of each training session, they were getting together, the coaches, and comparing stats and intensities and all this sort of stuff at training to see which squad was training harder. They've reunited now at Tamworth. They've got pretty much a month worth of training as a squad leading into their trial game. And Gus Gould is there as what's he been hired as? A consultancy role with the Warriors, his first one since leaving Penrith in 2019. Just randomly, 2019 seems ages ago. Literally just over a year. So what are your expectations on the Warriors this year? Like, we're going to do a detailed analysis of teams closer to the season, but the Warriors haven't gone through everything they have last year. This time, while there's similarities, they're away from home. There's differences this time. Families are with them. They're all together. It's a whole month leading into the season rather than being changed after 2 weeks. What do you reckon?
I don't think they have any excuses.
No.
This year.
No, but I'm not looking at excuses. What are you expecting from them?
But that's my point. If they're top 8, top 6 for the team they have, that's a failure. Because you said all those things, but look, they keep changing coaches. So they've got Nathan Brown now.
Yeah.
They, last year obviously was a write-off for them, but bottom line in NRL, perform or go, and they did not perform last year. That's not an excuse. No, sorry. It is an excuse what happened to them last year, but history books won't show that. It really won't. This year, they're set up for it, and I think it comes down to how they play. So Warriors have had a mentality of give the ball to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and let's hope he does something. It's the same as Payne Haas at the Broncos. He's their pack horse.
Yeah.
He does all their shit runs. He does everything for them. And then when they get in range, they expect him to, break 4 tackles and score under the post. If they utilize Roger Tuivasa-Sheck better, one, he'll probably win his second Dally M. 2, they'll come close to one game in the grand final at least.
Wow,
because
that's a big call. That's a hot take.
He's just as good as Tedesco, if not better.
He is, but he also doesn't have a half and a 5'8".
That's right. So it just depends on. He's got Egan.
That's all because Carl Lawton went down. So it's all on him.
Look, they've got the forward pack and they've got a few. I really rate. A lot of people don't, but I rate Ewan Aiken. I reckon he can be a very solid player on his day.
Solid's a good word.
Yeah, like he's nothing over River, but he's good. I like him. I really like their signings. Like Ben Murdoch-Masila and Adam Fanua-Blake in the same team is just mouth-watering. Yeah, I love it. But I just think that they need to utilize him better, and it really annoys me about the Warriors and Broncos that they don't.
I'm going to go a little more lenient on them. I'm not going to say one game away from the grand final, top 6 is a failure. Do they have a squad? Hell yes, they do. It's a really good-looking squad. Has this squad ever played together? No. There's going to be, in their starting 13, you could say 7 to 8 players who haven't worn a Warriors jersey, depending on how training goes down. And then I'm not less interested, but I'm more interested in looking at what Nathan Brown does to the players who are already there, who are already at the Warriors. I want to see how many of those hard carries Mamalo and Fusatua are going to take out of the backfield to lighten the workload on Fusatua.
And hopefully Nathan Brown does not put Fusatua in the centre.
No, I wouldn't see him doing that. We know Aitken's going to get back and do those runs. I'll be interested to see what he does with Aitken's defense, because that was one of the raps on him earlier in his career, but he got found out quite a fair bit last year with regards to his defensive positioning, but that could also be attributed to teammates around him at the Dragons. I'm still going to pencil them into a top 8. I think I will have him in my top 8 for my start of season predictions. The one thing I think is working most in their favour, now that they're all here, it reminds me a little bit of the Melbourne Storm's preparation of the grand final last year, where they were on the Sunshine Coast, kind of away from the spotlight of Sydney and Melbourne. Tamworth isn't the city. It's out, and then they're going to be moving to Gosford and playing out of there. They're just out of the way, which I think is going to work to their advantage, and it's not a new thing anymore. Last year, we were talking about them each week as much as we were talking about the Broncos. This year, I don't think we will, because they've had that experience, and I think they're going to just be allowed to go around their things, go about and do their things. The one thing I hate about it is their first home game in over a year and a half is against Manly. I just knew it was going to happen like that. So round 5, their first home game in however long is going to be against Manly in New Zealand, with most likely a packed stadium. Not looking forward to that as a Manly supporter.
Adam Fanua-Blakes is going to rip you apart.
I'm not looking forward to that one whatsoever. Before we get on to injuries and stuff that have popped up, I just want to mention Rob Burrow over in the Super League over New Year's was awarded with an MBE. If you don't know Rob Burrow, he was a halfback / hooker for Leeds Rhinos and England. He played his whole career with Leeds. He was diagnosed with motor neuron disease a few years ago now, and they did a documentary showcasing the change in who he was as a person, how much it affected him over a period of time. And himself and his wife and his family gave a huge insight into what it's like living with motor neuron disease. To the point where when the documentary was released on free to air in the UK, they had over 3 million people tune in. And he's been awarded an MBE for his work with rugby league and resilience within the sport of rugby league, and then his work in communities with regards to work with motor neuron disease and what's the word I'm looking for here? Getting the spotlight on it, basically, with regards to research. So congratulations to Rob Burrow. He hasn't shied away from the public. He's not looking real good. He wasn't a big fella when he played, 66 kilos, 165 centimeters. Probably the only professional rugby league player in history smaller than me. So just a shout out to Rob Burrow, and keep fighting the good fight, little fella. He's one of the few English players I remember watching when they came out and toured, or we went over there. I always just used to remember, I wonder if the little fella's playing, because I could never remember his name. And I was pretty excited to see him as a small fella myself. So keep fighting the good fight. And while we're over in the suit, sorry, you go.
Yeah, the English version of Alan Langer. That's what they used to actually say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And while we're over in the Super League, as of, tomorrow for them, I think, as of the 6th of January, the UK is in a 3rd national lockdown, so the Super League is on hold. We're looking for news out of there, because it hasn't been a big week in the NRL over here, but they're on hold again. So, yeah, not much to say over there in the Super League. Casualties. Jeez. That sounded horrible. Injuries. Titans fullback AJ Brimson hopes to return from a foot injury in the trial against the Warriors in February, but is definitely on track for a round 1 start regardless. So AJ Brimson will be the Titans fullback in round 1, whether he does or does not play the trial, unless, of course, he plays the trial and gets hurt. Which is good news for the Titans, because they only had him for a third of the season last year, and that's when they looked their best by a long shot.
Yeah.
Ash Taylor's likely to return round 1 from hip and wrist surgery. Vic Radley, Sam Verrills from the Roosters are tracking well, and we've covered everybody else. That's right. We did the whole Manly MASH squad. We won't go through that. Anything else from you before I throw this random story at you? I'm going to throw something at you on the spotty.
Nah, I'm all good. What do you got for me?
All right. Opinion piece. There's a for and against opinion piece up on NRL.com with regards to whether the Panthers will go one better in 2021. Can you give me a for argument and an against argument? How about I'm going to give Jarrod a couple of minutes to think, and we'll be right back after this message from Manscaped. We use the word balls a lot on our show. When's the last time you took care of yours? Support for Six Again is brought to you by Manscaped, the world's best in below-the-waist grip. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Don't know about you guys, but shaving your balls isn't something that's on my to-do list on a weekly basis. Main reason? It's risky. Cuts and nicks are not something that you want going on in an area that's as sensitive as, let's say, your balls. Luckily, Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer, the Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 to be exact. Now, Jarrod and I received ours in the mail last week as a gift from Manscaped. We got the perfect package and it is premium. And I mean premium. The battery lasts up to 90 minutes. It's waterproof so you can groom in the shower. And there's even an LED light on the trimmer to help in those, let's call them shadowy areas. So if during quarantine or lockdown, your bush has gotten out of control and you're ready to trim that junk of yours, head to manscaped.com and use the code AGAIN, AGAIN, to get 20% off your order plus free shipping. Trust me, your balls will thank you. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code AGAIN at manscaped.com. All right, we're back. Jarrod, take it away. Give me a for and an against with regards to Penrith winning or not winning the grand final in 2020.
Okay. Basically, I don't believe they can, but this is how they can.
You're horrible at for and against.
I don't think so.
They definitely can, is what Jarrod's saying. They can definitely win the grand final because
they cannot. But the only way they can win the grand final next year is if no NRL team watches their game tapes, and every NRL team forgets how good Kickow and Crichton and the fact they only attack left is. Against is...
What an argument, therefore. Hope every other NRL team has fired their analytics department and are forgetful.
Against is if everyone does that and remembers how bad their right-hand side is. Because their right-hand side's a bit dodgy. So I think they're going to be very found out next year in their attack. Look, if Luai and Cleary play as well as they played the quality that they did in the last year, they have a chance. But I just think that players are going to rush kick out. Players are going to rush Crichton, and it's just going to be how they deal with that's going to be how Penrith go. I got so my little brother, congratulations to Stephen. He actually got a good job in Canberra, and he moved down there today. Last night we went over to my parents' place for a dinner, and I brought it to Stephen Beadle, that he got really mad at me that I have a theory about Nathan Cleary. So far in his career, he has folded in big games. He's played 7 Origin games. He's only ever played one good one.
He was pretty good in games 2 and 3.
No, he wasn't good in game 3. He was missing. He was good. He was fantastic in game 2 this year. Grand final, he got beaten by a guy in a grand final because he was the reigning Dally M halfback of the year 2 weeks earlier, he got beaten by the opposing halfback who was a starting fullback 18 months earlier. And they're the same age too. Roundabout the same age. So in the big game, like in games where, yes, they won 17 in a row, but when it mattered, he failed to deliver.
All right. So your for and against argument, let's say, was 10% for, 90% against.
I think it's 5% for, 95%.
Your argument was like watching a rock tread water. It was so bad. Last time I did that.
I just don't think they'll be able to do it again. I think they're going to be strong. I just don't think they'll be able to do that over 24 weeks.
Okay. So the point of a for and against is to show that you got to come up and justify a way that they'll win. Penrith can
That's how they're going to win.
definitely.
If everyone forgets and doesn't watch video, that's all. That's how they're going to win.
Penrith is definitely going to win the grand final in 2021 because they have the youngest, most talented backline in the comp. You have players like Charlie Staines, Brian Tu'o at ages 22 and 20. You've got Nathan Cleary, who's going to learn from his failures in big games so far. Jerome Luai is going to take another step forward after looking at and seeing what he can do. If they get a solid injury-free season out of Dylan Edwards and Viliami Kikau, we know what they can be like. And there's very few teams that are going to be able to keep up with their high-energy play throughout a whole season, hence why they went on 17 straight. That's why they're going to win. The downside, or the against, is why they're not going to win. All that stuff I just said is lacking one key trait, which is leadership and consistency. And the two players who probably had the most of that at Penrith were James Tarmow and who's the other one that I'm missing?
Zane
Tedavano. So you're losing the two guys with the most grand final experience, consistency, and who's going to step in and fill that void? It's such a cliche thing to say that this guy's great in the dressing room, or he's great to have around the boys, or he's great in the clubhouse. Generally, not always, but generally, those players are nothing more than your run-of-the-mill NRL players. James Tarmow is not going to go down as an elite front rower or a Hall of Famer. But the impact he may have had on the other players around him who could go on to be an elite player could be profound and something that we never know about. So I think that leadership void is what's going to play against them. In saying that, they do have the talent to do it. There's my for and against. Jarrod just doesn't like him because he probably goes for him. Oh, yeah, all right. That's pretty much all we got for you guys for a first episode of the season. There wasn't a lot going on this week. We are working on a new format. What we will be doing, we've probably got another couple of weeks of single shows, and then we're going to be starting to get into our predictions. We're going to break down every club, their signings, their departures, coaching. We're going to get their predicted round one team lists. We're going into round one analysis. All that sort of stuff is to come. Want to do a big thank you again to manscaped.com for sponsoring this episode. Jump on the link in our bio. It'll be up on all social media platforms. We're also now on Podchaser. And if you could jump on and rate and review us on any podcasting platform that you guys listen on, that would be doing us a huge solid. Anything else from you, Jarrod?
Nah, I'm good. I already spewed enough shit tonight.
Excellent. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Six Again, our first one of season 2. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We're continuing to grow, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Six Again. Connect with the show on Twitter, Instagram, and the Six Again website. All links via the show's bio.